Have you ever read a manga where you felt so absorbed in the tale that you didn't need any fantastical settings or voice acting to enjoy it? It's not just the quality of the art in this manga, but also the way it manages to portray the character's insanity of emotion that sets it apart. This manga is called Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul is a Japanese dark fantasy manga series written and illustrated by Shuei Ishida between September 2011 and September 2014. It was collected into 14 volumes. The story is set in a world where humans and vicious species known as ghouls, creatures that look like normal people but can only survive by eating human flesh, live among the human population in secrecy. In modern Tokyo, Japan, a student named Kaneki is on a date with Rei's Kimishiro, or as he's known for, Rei's son, who turns out to be a ghoul and tries to eat him, which is fair considering that Kaneki wanted to eat her first. Nonetheless, he was sent to the hospital in critical conditions. While recovering, Kaneki learns that he was surgically altered to be half ghoul. Some of Rei's organs were transplanted into his body to achieve this, and he now needs to feed on human flesh like any other ghoul. Our protagonist can expect nothing but tragedy from this point on. Also, Kaneki can't get rid of his humanity, which is why he has to consume his own kind. In Kaneki's view, ghouls are nothing but monsters. Kaneki tries to find his own resolve, only to end up failing badly and almost eating his best friend, Hide. Fortunately, Kaneki has been saved by the kind but stern Toka Karishima, and don't worry, we'll get to her a bit later in the video. After being saved, Kaneki realized what he was about to do to his best friend, and that he was cut off from both the human and ghoul worlds. When Kaneki begins to cry uncontrollably, revealing to us one of the most emotionally wrenching scenes in all of Tokyo Ghoul, and at this very moment, this elderly man steps in to set the record straight, explaining that Kaneki is, in fact, a human and ghoul. It might seem like I'm pressing it too hard, that this is such a minor moment that doesn't deserve this much attention, and you may be right, but I believe that this is a significant and heartwarming moment for a variety of reasons. You might not feel it well, but if you have read or watched Tokyo Ghoul, you have already known what Kaneki has been through up until this moment. From getting beat up to trying to come up with terms with his inner ghoul, which has led to an extreme hunger that made him almost kill the only person that he cares about in this world, Hide. All of this insane amount of mental pressure that he had to try to solve on his own led to this very moment of seeing our protagonist very delicate and broken emotionally, which is I really appreciate because it set him apart from all of these modern shonen heroes who represent the embodiment of a strong, unbreakable mental person. That is why Kaneki is so much more relatable. And at this very moment for Kaneki, Mr. Rishimura offers Kaneki a job at his Onataka cafe, saving him from having to kill any humans while also helping him understand ghouls better. That being said, Kaneki is currently attempting to assimilate into the ghouls community by learning more about its inhabitants. He's also coming to the realization that ghouls are merely abnormal people, and that the distinction between good and evil ghouls is not all that different from that between humans. Because of their superior genetics, humans can feel pleasure in a wide variety of pursuits. However, ghouls are the unlucky ones, with no future than to feast on human flesh. Through his terrible journey, Kaneki learns that ghouls are just like people in many ways. They feel love, hate, joy, grave, malice, envy, and much more. Kaneki's desire to protect not only Hide but all the Onataka members becomes a story major motive once he gains an understanding of ghouls after losing a loved one and witnessing firsthand that humans could be crueler than ghouls. He is forced to confront his own humanity and start learning how to control his ghoulish abilities without going wild. From this point on, the story improves. If we look closely at the plot, there is nothing unique about a protagonist who lives an ordinary life wants to protect those who's close to him, and in order to do so, he must control his power and become more powerful, a story structure that has been used numerous times. However, what makes this manga stand out from the other typical shonen genres is due to two main factors. First, the exceptionality of Kaneki's character, which we have already covered. The second is not his story, but rather the distinctive way in which Ishida sells it to you through expressive, chaotic visuals. Before publishing Tokyo Ghoul, Ishida wrote two comics, The Tale of the Longing for Sex and The Penis Man, never mind that, which were published in 2010. And if I told you that they were both written by the same person, you would have thought I'm insane. But what if I told you that The Penis Man was published in 2010 when Ishida was 24 years old, and that Tokyo Ghoul was published in 2011 when he was only 25? That's only a year's differences, and when we compare the two works, it's crazy to see how much growth and improvements the author had made in that time frame, making himself stand out from the crowd not only as a talented mangaka but also with his own distinctive art. Tokyo Ghoul's visual style is good at portraying the world's dark nature and also preserving the reality of the characters but altering their outfits, styles, and looks as the tale continues. But what makes this style of panels so successful is that it only slaps out the third point of view by making you feel the character's deep thought and emotions. The best illustration of this is the psychopathic, ruthless ghoul Yukumo Omori, or as he's known for, the 13 words Jason. Jason was an executive at Ogiri 3 and the founding leader of the White Suits from the 13 World. Typically, he was called by his ally Yamori due to his brutality. He also became known as the 13 World Jason. Before he was called Jason, he messed up and was taken to the 23 Third World's Gold Detention Center. During his imprisonment in Kakuya, he was tortured relentlessly by a sadistic investigator working there. He desperately tried to escape the pain. He convinced himself he was the torturer, not the tortured one, when their roles were reversed. He felt a thrill he had never felt before. It seems like he had truly become human. During the torture, he learned about the injections and the method to inflict pain on ghouls. He started seeking ways to satisfy his sadistic hobby by looking for unfortunate victims to bring to his personal torture chamber. And this is the man that Kaneki had to face and overcome. And to dive a little deeper, I'm going to drop a spoiler warning here, and I will do my best to avoid any major spoilers. In long story short, an organization known as the Ogiri 3 issued an order to capture Reyes or anything related to her. As a result, they kidnapped Kaneki due to their similar scent. After they took Kaneki and found no use for him, they put him in jail. Eventually, Kaneki attempted to escape, only for his plan to fail, and Kaneki had to make a deal with Jason to save his friends. Jason found a good use for Kaneki after capturing him, and as you can see here, Kaneki has been through hell and back, from having a needle shoved through his eyes, to having his fingers and toes repeatedly sliced off, to having to kill a mother or her child, to having a Chinese red-headed centipede stick through his ear. Throughout this cruel torture, Kaneki suffered physically, emotionally, and mentally, and you can clearly notice and feel what Kaneki has been through just by looking at his hair. And this is not a joke, he's not about to go Super Saiyan. After much suffering, Kaneki was forced to look at the causes of his predicament and accept the fact that he must sacrifice one thing in order to keep or gain the other. A realization that he had to face his inner self by realizing his mother's mistakes and also his own weaknesses, to finally sacrifice a part of himself in order to gain the power of his half-ghoul and this was done after a lot of struggle and pain and self-doubt, all of which came together in a single masterpiece panel. Coming from this to this is the best way to describe mental progression, and this is why I preferred Ishida's art to the anime adaptation version. Look at the differences. Finally, let's talk about how badly the anime adapted the manga. I'm not here to crap on the last 3 seasons, since they are all downhill even for Tokyo Ghoul's biggest fans. Rather, I would like to crap on season 1. Despite the fact that it was the most accurate adaptation of the manga, and that it even topped the manga in some moments, I still did not enjoy it. Wouldn't mind if the story changed, or a few details were changed to make the content less harsh / brutal. What I am not okay with is how they rushed the anime by adapting almost 70 manga chapters into a 12 episode series. In retrospect, the first 12 episodes of The Promised Neverland were excellent, covering 37 chapters of manga into 12 episodes, or around 3 chapters by 1 episode. However, the first season of Tokyo Ghoul also featured 12 episodes and 68 manga chapters, for an average of over 5.5 chapters per episode. Therefore, the personalities became less complex and intriguing. Toka is the best example I can think of. Toka Karashima, a waitress at Anataka and one of the major protagonists in Tokyo Ghoul. She is a ghoul. When originally introduced, she was a lovely waitress who hated a friend of Kaneki, had a crush on. Later, she aided Kaneki on many occasions, including one where she was particularly hard with him and revealed her concept for humans. Later on, she went on for vengeance and killed one of the CCG investigators, only to feel guilty about succumbing to her hatred. To atone for her sins, she trained Kaneki and attempted to mislead the CCG inquiry in order to protect her friend. All of that has been cut from the anime. Not only that, but even her little details, like coming late and never apologizing, and most importantly, her jealousy with humans, have been removed. Mockingly despises people because she wishes she could have been born a human instead. The same can be said for other characters, including my personal favorite, the strange and inhuman Jozo, or the calm and cold Renji Yomo. How about the stylish and gentle Psycho, Tsukiyama? They suffer the same fate, even Kaneki if we extend it a bit. Anyway, it's time for me to shut up. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did and want me to make an exclusive video about Tokyo Ghoul Re, leave me a comment below and subscribe so you can watch it when I upload it. Stay calm and peaceful. Until next time, Joe out. Sayonara.